NESN HD Television Center, everyone. Tom Karen, Jerry Remy, Dennis Eckersley. Red Sox beat tonight 7-3. They trail this series 3-1, almost like we said could happen in a worst-case scenario. Tim Wakefield cruising along, and the wheels come off in the fifth.
Well, let the second guesses begin, because that's what's going to happen. You know, Wakefield making this start, and we said in the pregame show that I agree with it, you agree with it, we all agree with it. And for a while, it looked like a great performance by Wakefield. It was a typical Tim Wakefield night. He came out, he had a great knuckleball to start off with. He was throwing very good curveballs in the game, mixing in the fastball, breezing through the first four, and then everything falls apart in one inning.
I mean, he punches out 7 guys. I mean, he pitched as well as you can ever possibly think he was going to pitch. No hitter with 2 outs in the 4th inning. Finally gives up a hit, and then they start the 5th inning off with a measly little solo home run, and they could not stop the bleeding with Del Carmen giving up a key 3-run home run to Peralta.
Regardless of how this all comes out, we'll look at these 3 games as the inability of the starting pitcher to get beyond the 5th inning. Four starts now, but 3 of them since the Beckett starting game 1. The Red Sox starter is pulled out with 4 2/3 innings gone.
And to add to that, also, not only the pitching, but the offense. Other than the 3 home runs tonight, there's nothing. I mean, you know, they really did nothing offensively except the 3 home runs. But we look at Wakefield at the beginning of the ball game, and of course you see the curveball there, the knuckleball. I mean, he had everything going. As good a curveball he's had, knuckleball I should say, as he's had all season long.
And it's eerie. You see that right there, that line of 4 2/3. I mean, that's hard to do right there. It really is. And it just got away from him. You're talking about 2 innings in this playoff series where they give up 7 runs to the Indians, and it cost them 2 ball games, 1 in extra innings, and really this game in the 5th inning, they could not stop the bleeding.
And because of that, their backs to the wall, as we said. It seems like this series turned on a dime. You got to the 5th inning of that second game, Red Sox had the 1-run lead. Since then, it's been like a totally different series. They can't seem to score runs off this bullpen, and the Indians' bats have woken up big time.
Well, and also you can look back to 2004, and people are going to say, well, they came back from 0-3 and they won the series. But the difference here is you got Sabathia tomorrow, or the next game that you play, and then you got Carmona, and you would certainly expect both those guys to pitch better than they did the first time out. They're in trouble. And
when you get down by 7 runs, I mean, you put 3 home runs in a row. It looks great. It looks outstanding, but you're saying it's a little too late. You know, because to try to come back from 7-0, you just wish the game would have stayed a little closer.
Well, Wakefield left the game with a 3-0, and Manny Del Carmen threw some gasoline on the fire. Let's start with Wakefield here. Cruising along early. 7 strikeouts, as you said, in 4 2/3 innings. Looked like he had his stuff together tonight, and we were talking about the rest paying off. Everything, he was throwing that curveball in a little bit and getting results.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing more you can say about Wakefield's start except it was a kind of a typical Tim Wakefield start. You just don't know what's going to happen. And when you look at it early in the ball game, I mean, that thing was dancing beautifully tonight. He didn't have to look like a fool 3 times up at the plate tonight, striking him out all 3 times. You know, things are just going very well for him. And, you know, you're sitting back saying, wow, you know, the time off that he had has really helped him, and he hasn't missed a beat. He's sharp. He's got everything going for him. And then in kind of typical Tim Wakefield fashion, as soon as he gets something up, it seems like it snowballs. And as we talked about, the manager doesn't have time to get somebody ready.
Because it happens so fast.
And then they hit by pitch. I mean, he hits Shopik. Yeah. You know, it's like, oh, no, you just feel it coming.
But it started with that home run. You saw the double for Peralta in the 4th. The first hit he'd given up. He tagged that ball pretty good to left field. Then you come back in the 5th inning and the Blake home run. And all of a sudden, you can feel it start to speed up, as they like to say. All of a sudden, the trouble comes fast.
Well, this is the second home run Blake's hit off of Wakefield. And he gets like you know, finally gets a knuckleball that doesn't do much, and he kind of didn't take, I mean, like one-hands this ball almost, but he gets a top hand on it and ball's crushed, easily gone, and you're thinking, no big deal. You almost were waiting for somebody to go deep, whether it would be off Wake or Bird, and Bird just sort of waited an inning longer to give up his home runs.
Well, and then it became one of those innings where it just snowballs away from him. He hit a batter, and those are the kind of things, whether it's a hit batsman or a strikeout with a pass ball at the end of it, you get one of those in the inning, and all of a sudden the line keeps moving and the trouble adds.
And a lot of crazy things happening. I mean, he really could have been out of there with 1 run, because, you know, that ground ball that went up the middle, he deflected, then they couldn't, you know, make a play. That ball is right at Pedroia, and they might have had a double play. Also, Youkilis at first base dropping a pop-up. You know, there was a lot of things that went on, crazy things that went on in that inning.
And this pop-up, I don't know if you know, this is the pop-up right before he hits the ball back up the middle. And here's Youkilis. He catches this ball going back, but then he drops it, and you're thinking, oh my goodness. And the run would have scored anyway. Yep. He was going to tag up as soon as that ball hits that glove.
But little do you know, you would take the run and take the out if you had to do it over again. Let's hear what the manager said, Terry Francona. As you can see, sitting down at the podium, let's join the press conference live.
Terry, all three of your losses, your pitchers haven't made it out of the fifth inning. Is it something they're not doing, or is it something that the Indians changed from game one that's getting them out so early?
Well, I think every game kind of has its own feel or personality. I think there are times, too, you get in the playoff game or during the regular season, you might give a starter some wiggle room because you can't go to the bullpen in the fifth inning 3 games in a row during the regular season. But now, because of the importance of games and trying to keep games at a manageable point where if we do hit those 3 home runs, we're right back in the ball game. I think it's just a little bit different during the regular season.
Another question? Tim?
Terry, Johnny Peralta's had a pretty good series. Given your scouting reports, I assume this is no big surprise that he's had a good series given how good a hitter he's been for a while.
Yeah, he's very dangerous, as we're finding out. The formula that we used tonight, bringing in Manny Del Carmen behind Wake, is something we have done a lot this year, just because of the differential in the speeds and giving hitters different looks. He fell behind 2-1, tried to go down the way, really elevated the ball that Johnny caught up with. And I mean, obviously, I know I'm stating the obvious, it's a big blow in the game. If we can stop the bleeding right there, certainly gives us a much better chance. I mean, we still came back with a lot of energy and swung the bats the next inning, but we really dug ourselves a big hole.
Okay, back there.
There's guys in your room who have some history with being in a bad place in the postseason and coming back. Is there anything that you need to say, can say, or does it just have to kind of be left unsaid?
No, we don't need to have meetings. We know where we are, and like you kind of said, there's some guys in there that have been in this situation before. And the best way I think all of us know to go about our business is to play the next game and put that on our radar and try to take care of the next game. You start trying to look ahead, can look a little overwhelming. Just play the game that's in front of us, and that's the only thing that matters right now.
Sure.
Scouting report mentioned before by Tim, but I'm sure you had thorough reports on the Indians bullpen. Now that you've seen them in person up close in the postseason, is it better than you thought collectively, or about what you thought, especially the back end?
Well, the series isn't over. Nope. We're very aware of what they can do. And Betancourt comes in with 79 innings and I believe 9 walks. 51 hits. That's a phenomenal year. Our goal as always is to get to the bullpen before they can set it up, where they can match up or have get to guys before they want to. We haven't been able to do that the last couple nights.
Right here in front again.
With Tim, no hit through 3 innings and then the bottom falls out. Can you just talk about his performance? And have you seen this before from him? Does it happen with a knuckleballer like that?
Well, I think that you have to keep that inning a little bit in perspective when you're talking about Wake. I mean, he gave up the leadoff home run to Blake, and then a single, and then the hit batsman to Shopik was really crucial right in the middle of that inning. Then we get the ground ball, and we get the pop-up that Yuke's chasing, knowing he's got a guy at third that's probably tagging. The ball drifted on him a little bit. We don't make that play, and then he gets the line drive back to the station's glove. We're out of the inning. So and then we go to Manny to keep it right where it is, and we certainly didn't do that.
Right over here, last one.
I was just going to ask if you could talk a little more about Wakefield's performance as a whole throughout the game.
I actually thought he threw the ball very well. The big concern I thought for us tonight was getting through that first inning and getting him a little bit on a roll and having him throw the ball with confidence. With Wake, when he's quick to the plate, that means he's not trying to load up and make that ball do more, or like he feels like it has to do more. His times to the plate tonight were great. He threw the ball with confidence. Like I said, in a regular season game, we'd have stayed with him longer. But the situation we're in the playoff game, we wanted to stop it right there.
We take two more, Terry.
Sure.
I see two more.
Sure.
Right here.
What kind of argument do you have with the umpire after the fourth inning? Is it something? Yeah, is it something related to a double pumping by John Bird?
Are you questioning the double pump by Paul Bird?
Oh, I didn't have any argument. Oh, I just asked him a question.
Yeah.
Oh, it was no argument.
Back there.
I wanted to get a rules interpretation. That was all it was.
Last one. Back there.
Terry, can you talk about Paul Bird and the job he did against your hitters, not just with the aggressiveness, but just, you know, with his selection of pitches?
Yeah, he's such a strike thrower, and he got on a roll where, especially to his glove side, his cutter, like away to righties, into the lefties, opened up the rest of the plate for his off-speed pitches. He early on, even the first inning, very aggressive into the lefties, which really, again, with his off-speed pitches and the way he throws strikes, really made him tough.
Thanks for coming
Okay.
in. We'll wait for Eric Wedge, Paul Bird.
All right, Terry Francona talking to the media. Let me ask you the question I asked you when we started the night. Fans want change. When things aren't going well, they want a new lineup. They want a different pitcher. They want a Beckett tonight. That didn't happen. They didn't see a lineup change tonight. Do you think there could be a change in this lineup over the next 48 hours?
No, I don't think so at all, because the only change you're going to see is Bobby Kelty in there. That's the only difference. Pedroia got a hit tonight. I'm sure he's going to lead off against Sabathia. Lugo is not hot. Crisp is not hot. There's no point in moving those guys around. I don't see any changes, TC, in the lineup with the exception of Bobby Kelty.
This all comes down to Beckett. I mean, this absolutely all comes down to Beckett. You got to get home. I mean, if this team can get home, it's a whole different ball game. But the fact is, this is a huge game tomorrow night for Beckett because he's going to have to go out there, and you're going to expect more than 4 2/3 out of Beckett.
And he only went 80 pitches. Now the question is, his back stiffened up the other night. We'll see if that becomes a factor at all. He will have an extra day's rest. The Red Sox had the best bullpen ERA in the American League during the regular season, and yet the depth of that bullpen has been put to the test. We saw the 11th inning on Saturday night once you got past Pedroia. Tonight, Manny Del Carmen came in and couldn't get the job done.
No, he couldn't. And the bottom line, as you showed the graphic earlier, if you got starters that are not going 5 innings in a ball game, you're not going to win many games. It's that plain and simple because you're getting to a stage of the game where you don't want these guys into. And Del Carmen did not do the job tonight, plain and simple. I mean, he comes into the ball game, he gives up the home run to Peralta, an opposite field home run, the second home run that Peralta's had in this series, and he's just a very good player, but not a real good pitch. A fastball lights up, takes it the other way, and they've been wearing out the top of that wall out there in right field.
And it looked like he was looking for a fastball. Got a 2-1 count, got a fastball. Took a good swing at the pitch earlier. And then a base hit to Lofton right there. And then a breaking ball, kind of a lazy breaking ball, but he chinks it up into center field for another RBI because Lofton had stole second base. And now it's 6-0. And next up, ball 4. And that's about, that's about the extent of it. He just didn't look real sharp, with his control more than anything. Obviously, he's throwing the ball hard. He threw the ball hard tonight, but his control was a little off, and I thought they sat on that fastball, and he got it and drove it. You got to give the guy credit, Peralta.
Yeah, and the last pitch that you saw was a changeup, which has been a very good pitch for Del Carmen recently, but not tonight. I mean, he couldn't just get it over the plate, so they're all sitting on fastballs, and this is an excellent fastball hitting ball club.
We mentioned the offense. As I said at the very top, it seems like this game turned on a dime there in the 5th inning Saturday night. Since then, the Red Sox as a team are hitting something like 212 as a team. And you can look, since that 3-run 5th inning when the Red Sox put 3 on the board in Game 2, they're hitting exactly 212, 5 runs scored, 5 extra base hits. Obviously, the Cleveland bullpen has got the job done. We'll show you some numbers there. First, let's hear from the manager, Eric Wedge.
Classically wins in the postseason, doesn't it?
Well, I feel like we've been doing a better job and just controlling the baseball game in regard to our pitching. I think that it starts right there. It always has and it always will in regard to, working ahead, making pitches when you have to, getting big outs, finishing hitters off, finishing innings off. Paul Bird gave us another great effort tonight. You saw, Jensen Lewis come in and as well as Rafael Betancourt and work the way they needed to work as well. So, we had the big inning. Birdie gave us a chance to win the ball game. The bullpen was able to finish it off.
Right over here.
You guys were struggling a bit against Wakefield, and then in that
fifth inning, you exploded. Can you talk about, did you sense anything with that inning? Or can you talk about Blake's home run, too?
Well, we did not sense anything outside of the fact that he was throwing the ball good. And you could see that early on. I mean, he was dropping that thing in there. He'd mix in an occasional fastball. Looked like he was mixing in an occasional breaking ball. He had the knuckleball going up and down. He had it going side to side from time to time. I mean, it was, we were having a lot of difficulty. Casey Blake, that was big for us to get on the board and to break through because we weren't stringing anything together. And then it just kind of went on from there. And the guys did a good job of moving it on down the line and working hard to get to the next guy and pushing the inning forward. So obviously there's a number of people that really contributed to that inning. The big home run there by Peralta. He can go that way with it, and he's done it a lot for us this year.
Right in front here.
Eric, after the Game 1 loss, did you guys reevaluate or change philosophy pitching-wise as well as hitting, or has it stayed the same? It's just that maybe they were a little relaxing more.
No, it's stayed the same. I mean, I think that we've just done a better job on the mound of being a little bit more aggressive. Again, getting back to our strengths. That's the way we have to play. I mean, that's the way we have to get it done, is to focus on what we need to do individually, what we need to do with different areas of our ball club, and obviously what we need to do collectively as a ball club to win.
That's Eric Wedge after the game. Red Sox beaten tonight 7-3. They now trail it by a series margin of 3-1. The Aces back on the mound after another day off. It'll be Josh Beckett against CC Sabathia. A preview of that and a whole lot more coming up. First, let's check in with Tito Servasio back at Jacobs Field.
Tom, still more to come from Cleveland. We're getting ready to head into the Red Sox clubhouse right now. Get the players' reaction as they have now dropped 2 straight at Jacobs Field, 3 straight to the Indians. All of that coming up, and I'll also go one-on-one with the manager in Terry's take.
All right, Tina, thanks very much. We will hear from Tim Wakefield when we come back as he gets a start after 16 days of rest. And he went strong through 4, then trouble in the 5th. A 7-run inning for the Indians. Second time they put 7 on the board in 1 inning this series. And because of it, they're up by 2 and need 1 win to move on to the World Series.
Coverage of Terry Francona's press conference is brought to you by Sullivan Tire. Always here to get you there.
Another day in Masonville, where the friendly office supply folks from WB Mason give you your own local service team. Yes, your own driver, sales rep, and service person who know you and your business. Well, over in Office Superstore land,
you shipped that order? Ask him. No, him. What order?
you get excuses. Now, any questions?
Who are those wonderful people?
Who but WB Mason?
Mere words cannot express the elegance, comfort, and extreme value of this Chase sectional. It's beyond your imagination. Life is sweet when you have choices, coconut or sage. Your choice only $9.99. In stock for delivery in 3 days or less. Bob can't be beat. He won't be beat. No way, no how.
Well, Red Sox trying to get a win in Cleveland, where the Indians have won 18 of the last 21 games. Tim Wakefield looked good through 4, but Casey Blake finally gets to him in the 5th inning. The homer to left makes it 1-0 Indians. That after Wakefield gave up just 1 hit through 4 innings, striking out 6. And then maybe the big play is Drupal Cabrera with a line back at Wakefield. If he doesn't touch it, Rem, is this a double play?
Yeah, it is, because you can see, you'll see on another angle, there's no question Pedroia would have been in position to make that ball. But, you know, it's normal instinct by a pitcher. We see it happen all the time. You automatically go up to try to make a play on it. That time it deflects off the glove. No chance for the double play. But if he lets it go, if it gets by him, there's no doubt it's going to be a DP.
Then Manny Del Carmen comes in and no relief.
Yeah, 2-1 pitch. He had fouled off the first pitch of fastball, kind of the same pitch that he hit out 2 pitches later. Took a curveball in the dirt, got a fastball out over the plate, and hits it the opposite field, which he has done. It's not like this. He never hits the ball the other way. He's got popped the other way, obviously.
And obviously it was a 3-0 game when Wakefield came out of the game, and they were able to put up 4 more, which really blew it open because the Sox get some pop back in the next half inning, back-to-back homers.
Well, Bird had been sitting around for a long time in that 7-run inning, and he came back out, and the Red Sox just tattooed him. I mean, Youkilis and then David Ortiz, 2 bombs off Bird. You know, we mentioned in the pregame show he gives up a lot of home runs, but again, he's got the lead. There's solo home runs. They get him out of there right after the Ortiz home run. One more, Manny comes through off Jansen with the opposite field home run here, very deep to right center field. But then Jansen Lewis settles down and he does the job as he's done through the whole series.
They don't go to Borowski in the ninth. You surprised?
Kind of surprised, but at the same time, once again, they have an off day, so it doesn't matter about the 2 innings by Betancourt. I mean, he can't do anything wrong anyway, so why not just save the Borowski for a 7-run save, like we said? There's only 4. We need 7.
He's unbeatable with the 7-run lead. We know that. Mark Shapiro, happy man. Casey Blake at the podium. Let's join it live.
Battling, just trying to make solid contact, not look like an idiot up there swinging at that pitch when it's coming in there like that. But like I said, I got lucky there, hit one on the barrel, and it seemed like that got us going a little bit. You got to give credit to, the guys coming up later. With some of the 2-strike base hits, Struble and Vic. Those guys were battling up there and came up with some huge hits.
Who else? In the back of the room there? In the center?
Casey, talk about how this team feeds off each other.
Well, first off, this is a team that's extremely close. In the clubhouse, it's just a lot of fun to be around. These guys really care for one another, and I think that has a lot to do with how much confidence we have and the success we've had this year. Is just the fact that we really pull for each other. There's in this game you have to have some, you have to be selfish in this game, to an extent, but when you really are pulling for your the guy next to you and caring how they do and picking them up when they're down, and I think that's kind of how we feed off each other.
Tim?
Casey, 2 really big innings in this series have helped you get to where you are in the series. Any similarities between those innings, and how does that speak to the explosive nature of this offense?
Well, I think the first big inning we had in Boston, it was just a matter of somebody, stepping up there late, coming up with a big hit, and Trott stepped in there and got the single up the middle to get that inning going. And that was kind of capped off, by a 3-run homer. Anytime. 3-run homers are great, and we've had several of them in the series, and those are big. We're not really a ball club that can sit back and play for that, but we'll certainly take them when we can get them. I think it's those innings, just kind of somebody gets it going, and there's maybe a little advantage, a little momentum going there, and it's just a combination of some guys battling, working the pitcher, and just battling.
All right, so Casey Blake talking about that big inning, and again, twice in this series through 4 games, they've scored 7 runs in an inning. We saw in the highlights that play from Asdrubal Carrera. That was a weird inning. He had the hit batsman. Youkilis drops the pop-up and the foul ball. If he catches it, a run scores. But they still would have had him off the hook, because if that doesn't hit Wakefield's glove, Pedroia's in perfect position to turn a double play.
He was, and as I said, it's normal instinct for a pitcher to try to make this play, but the ball's hit back at Wakefield. It deflects off his glove. It slows down enough. There's no play after that. But the fact is, had he not touched that ball, it's right at Pedroia, who's shading towards second base anyway, and it's going to be easy double play. Now, you see what Pedroia's playing. See baseball? It's going to be right at him. It's probably step on second base yourself and throw to first for the double play. So that was a big play in the ball game. If they make that play, it's a 1-0 game. It's a whole different thing.
And then he ends up striking out Hefner after that, comes back and punches him out, and Martinez gave him a tough at bat. If you remember, that was the last batter he faced. and that was a tough at bat, and he flipped it into left field, scored the 3rd run. And you know, normally, like Tito was saying, he may have not taken him out during the season, and he might have got out of that inning, but you can't. I mean, I realize.
I heard that, but the way that inning was going for Wakefield, it's almost like you know everything was going to blow up. You just had that feeling.
Yeah,
and you know what? I think he would have did the same thing during the season.
Yeah, it was getting away from him at that point.
Yeah.
And I know he said that about all 3 starters, but the bottom line is if any one of these guys had pitched better, he would have been able to stay in the game deeper. You go to the hook quicker in the postseason.
If you gave him some runs to work with, he might have been in a
any of these
situation.
games, they could have used more
That's
offense.
the biggest surprise times for me in the last 2 games, the lack of offense against guys like Westbrook and Bird. I mean, they should be hitting these guys.
You score 16 in the game started by Sabathia and Carmona, and now you've scored a total of 5.
There's nothing dazzling about these 2 guys.
Right, and they lose both these games. All right, let's hear what Tim Wakefield said in the locker room in the clubhouse after the game.
It hurts, you know. One big inning cost us the game. I couldn't stop the bleeding. I get a lead-off homer, you know, and make a good pitch. Hits one off the end for a double. Get a ground ball. Can't turn to double play. Ball hit back at me. It's a reaction play. If I let it go, it's a double play. If I catch it, it's a double play. It's just one of those things where the breaks went their way in that inning. And unfortunately, you know, I was taken out after 2 outs in the 5th.
Were you a little surprised that he came out, though? I mean, because besides the home run, it wasn't like they were hitting you all around the yard.
I agree with that, but I also agree it's postseason and try to stop the bleeding as quick as possible. And unfortunately, you know, I didn't get a chance to do that. And you know, Peralta hit this 3-run homer to kind of put the game out of reach.
Did you feel good?
I felt fine. You know, physically, I felt fine. I felt like the ball was moving good. Again, like, you know, it's the leadoff homer. It's really the only ball I thought that they squared up that inning. The line drive, you know, if I catch it, it's a double play. If I let it go, it's a double play, and just nicks the end of my glove that keeps the inning going. And you know, Martinez was able to get a hit in the hole that ended my night.
How stunning is an inning like that?
It's very stunning. You know, you work and you prepare and you do all the things that you're supposed to do, and sometimes the break's got to go your way. And unfortunately, that inning, you know, you got to tip your cap to those guys. They put enough hits together at the right time to continue the inning going, and it was enough to beat us tonight.
You guys have been down, you know, better than anyone.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of guys in this clubhouse still that, you know, in 04 we were down 3 games to nothing to New York. So we got our work cut out for us, and hopefully we can take this back to Boston and get in front of our home crowd.
What is it, Wake, that allows the team to come back? I mean, obviously that team had some special chemistry and to stay loose, but what is it that allows the team to do that?
Pretty much never give up. You know, you got to win. We got to win Thursday, the bottom line. And if we don't, we're going home. So we got the right guy on the mound that day, and hopefully we can continue this back in Boston.
All right, take a look at Tim Wakefield's career postseason games against the Indians. Now, you're going back to the 90s until tonight, but it has not been a good experience when Wakefield's facing the Indians. As you can see, a 7-earned run experience in 95, a 5-earned run game in 1998. A couple of better performances in relief, obviously, and then tonight he makes the start, and as he said, a stunning end to his night. The big blow, though, coming right after he left the game. Our WB Mason delivered the game a 3-0 lead. Manny Del Carmen with 2 on, a 2-1 pitch, and it is crushed by Johnny Peralta. A 3-run homer that breaks this one wide open. It gives them a 6-0 lead and puts it out of reach. Indians win this one. They've won 3 in a row. 7-3 the final score, 3-1 the series lead for the Tribe.
Baffled by a strange disease that stretches the arms of people buying copy paper at office superstores, scientists at the W.B. Mason Institute studying the problem shocked the world by announcing a cure.
Free same-day delivery.
Call 1-888-WB-MASON by 11. Your copy paper will be delivered by 5. Now, a happy ending is well within reach.
Oh, but W.B. Mason.
Leather gives you that feeling of restfulness, and you want to just sit and relax. When people come into my house, I want them to feel comfortable and be able to sit down and not worry about the furniture. And leather, because it's so rugged, that's what leather does. Leather is the type of furniture that actually looks better with age. Just like me. on a fall day, just coming in from maybe playing some football with the kids, lying on the sofa, lighting a fire, and the smell of the fire, the smell of leather. It's very relaxing. Right, Callie?
You know, this has to be my favorite time of the year. That's right, it's Chevy Truck Month.
Now get 0% financing for 60 months for well-qualified buyers on all 07 Silverado regular or half-ton extended cabs. Get 0% APR for 60 months for well-qualified buyers for an average finance savings of $6,036 on any 07 Silverado half-ton extended cab model.
Hey, don't miss out. Get the Chevy Truck Month by October 31st.
See for yourself. Shop and compare at NewEnglandChevyDealers.com.
Socktober on NESN is presented by Jordan's Furniture, the official furniture store of the Boston Red Sox.
Welcome back to our NESN HD television set of Tom Caron along with Dennis Eggersley and Jerry Remy. Coming into this postseason, a lot of talk about the Red Sox bullpen. Had the best ERA in the American League, but so far in this series, certainly since that 5th inning, kind of the turning point here of Game 2, the Indians bullpen has been outstanding. These are the numbers since that 5th inning. Since J.D. Drew got a single in that inning, and there was trouble in that inning for Perez, it has been lights out since then. 1 run, that was the home run that Lewis gave up today. But the big guys have been Betancourt and Lewis. They've been the two thorns in the side.
And the surprising thing for me, TC, is the fact that both those guys are getting it done with the fastball. I mean, Betancourt consistently with the fastball. He's thrown a couple of changeups the last few days. Lewis the same way. He's been getting it done with the fastball, too. His off-speed pitches are only so-so. But they're coming right after the Red Sox hitters with the hard stuff, and they can't handle it.
This guy's got some sneaky cheese and a little changeup, but, you know, I don't think they've really seen this guy, Lewis. And then Betancourt, all he does is throw fastball after fastball. Once again, you see right there, that could have been a base hit for Pedroia. He had gotten a hit earlier. So, I mean, you think about it, both those guys together had like 10 innings in the last 3 nights.
You're talking about a couple of young guys, Lewis and Perez especially. I mean,
and we haven't even seen Perez.
Nice bullpen. We haven't had to see Perez. Right. Betancourt, 2 1/3 the other night, an inning last night, and another 2 solid innings tonight.
When they have the lead late in the game, it's just like the Red Sox. I mean, they are very, very tough at the end of the game, and Betancourt has been so impressive in this series. I mean, he's had battles with Youkilis. He gets him to fly out here on the fastball again, but, you know, he's had so many battles with him over the last couple of games. Here's David Ortiz getting another fastball from Betancourt that he's laid on. He pops it up to the opposite field. It was basically all fastballs tonight from Rafael Betancourt. And there's Manny, gets a good pitch to hit, middle in, but just pops it up.
The thing about being a reliever like that, 7-3, man, you're just getting gay with your fastball. You're just going after everybody. I mean, what's the difference? If somebody takes you deep, that's totally, you know, the best way you want to go after guys is when, obviously, you got a 4-run lead. So everything is going their way, really. I mean, pitching-wise out of the bullpen, and this offense just can't get it going.
He got 6 out over 2 innings on 15 pitches, 12 from strikes. I mean, he came out and made quick work of this.
Well, they do what they're supposed to do. I mean, when you have a lead like that, you throw strikes. You don't nibble around and walk guys and do crazy things like that. They're coming right after the Red Sox hitters. I am surprised, though, at the Red Sox hitters. I mean, they're not swinging the bat well. You know, there's some very hittable fastballs there that they're not making good contact on, and it's almost like every guy that faced Betancourt was trying to hit a home run off him. They're still down by 4 runs.
But I expected the Red Sox to at least score a couple runs early on. I think that if they had scored a couple runs early on, this was a totally different ball game. I think it would have taken the pressure off of Wakefield, and maybe that inning may have not happened. Who knows?
Bird did just what he did against the Yankees.
I think better. I think even better
tonight.
Better than what he did against the Yankees.
All right, let's go back. One bright spot tonight. John Lester came out of the bullpen and pitched well. Let's hear what John Lester said after the game. All right, having some trouble with the audio there, but that, you know, you talk about, everyone's going to talk tomorrow about the people who wanted Josh Beckett to pitch tonight are going to say, see, we told you. People are going to point to Lester and say he pitched very well.
Yeah,
and,
please,
you know, the bottom line here is Wakefield had a Wakefield night. He pitched well through 4, and it got away from him in the 5th.
In my opinion, Tom, the story tomorrow should be not only Wakefield, but more so Manny Del Carmen, because he couldn't get out of that inning. He couldn't stop it from blowing up, and once it blew up, the game was basically over, because we know what the bullpen has done for the other club. So, I mean, you know, we're going to hear it all day long, and we know who we're going to hear it from, especially, no names mentioned, but the fact is that I still agree with the move to start him in this ball game. He started off fine in the game. He could have got out of that with 1 run, and with any help at all from the middle of the part of the bullpen, it would have been a very tight ball game. The Red Sox come back with 3 home runs.
If Del Carmen can get that out, if the bullpen, again, with the best bullpen ERA in baseball, if they can get you out, and I know, Eck, you've been there, it's easier said than done.
This guy's
but if he can get that third out, it's a 3-0 game.
One measly out. When you're thinking him coming in that ball game like that, he's been doing a good job, you know, pretty much for the last month of the season, even more. But Peralta, you know, he punched him out the other night. And, you know, he had a plan going up there, Peralta. You know, once he faced him the other night, he blew him away the other night. So he's looking fastball, and he saw him miss with a breaking ball earlier in that count. You're not going to see it. You're just going to see the 2-1 pitch. But when he missed with that hook, he was looking dead red, and he just got a ball up. And, you know, obviously, Del Carmen throws as hard as anybody in this game, and you've got to look fastball off this guy. And, you know, he's a young kid, and, you know, to bounce back from this, he'll always remember this. I mean, probably his whole career, not that it's going to be devastating to him, but he'll always remember that. But this is a life experience more than anything else.
But you mentioned how well he's pitched. That's why he's in there tonight. A month, 6 weeks ago, we're not even having this discussion. Del Carmen earned this opportunity. Frankly, this was supposed to be Gagne. This is why they went out and got an Eric Gagne, and then Del Carmen is the guy who's pitched himself into this position. Yeah,
there's no other option at that stage of the game right there, because that is the game. I mean, the game is on the line in the 5th inning, so you're looking for your best guy out of the bullpen, and in my opinion, your best guy has been Del Carmen. You're not going to come at Papelbon, obviously.
Right, and Okajima's pitched a lot in the last couple of
so there was no other option with the exception of possibly Timlin, but you go with the power guy, and the power guy has been Del Carmen.
And you're looking for a punch-out right there, and he's the guy you want when you're looking for a punch-out. Normally he gets it, he didn't tonight.
Okay, we're going to take a break, come back as we've got more coming your way. We'll go back to the clubhouse and hear more of the Red Sox. Did get 3 runs on 3 solo shots in a row, back-to-back to bag homers in the 6th inning. That's all they got, and they're beating 7-3.
Most vehicles can help protect you during an accident. We prefer to help you avoid one altogether. The 2008 Lexus RX with 14 actively safe features.
See your Lexus dealer.
We confess, we were wrong. We were wrong when we said Varney Value meant saving thousands on your next new vehicle. You will save thousands with Varney, but Varney Value means much more. Selection. Varney has a huge in-stock inventory of Pontiacs, Buicks, and GMCs. If it's not in stock, they'll get it. Service. Varney is the home of certified GM Goodwrench maintenance and repair. Convenience. Varney is your one-stop for sales, parts, and service. It all adds up to Varney Value from Varney, Buick, Pontiac, GMC, Hogan Road, Bangor.
And now, life without Roadrunner.
You're killing me.
You. I'm drowning here. You're downloading movies, your kids are downloading music.
So?
Look, if you want real speed, you need to drop DSL and get Roadrunner High Speed online.
Get Roadrunner and we're moving?
It's that easy. But call quick, hurry, go, go. That's nice.
Get Roadrunner for only $29.95 a month for 6 months. Call 1-800-833-2253. Another great service delivered over Time Warner Cable's advanced fiber network.
Extra Innings is brought to you by WB Mason and their new What a Bargain Super Clearance Center, where you can save up to 75% on office furniture and equipment. Located at 647 Summer Street in Boston, across from the Boston Athletic Center.
A strange play in a strange night as Asdrubal Cabrera hits this pop-up foul, and Youkilis backtracking, and it pops in and out of his glove, and he juggles it and it falls. Now at the moment, they're almost thinking they caught a break here because a run clearly would have scored. But in the end, the floodgates would open after that as a 7-run inning gets put up on the board. Let's hear Kevin Youkilis.
I don't really want to comment because I don't make any excuses. But when look at the replay, the ball wasn't straight. John's got some good stuff on the ball. And I don't think I've ever been hit in the shoe before. But you know, I need to catch that ball, whatever, but luckily it didn't hurt our team.
I apologize if you've been asked this already, but you know, just how crazy were things in the 5th inning that were unraveling for different reasons?
It was just one of those things that, you know, I think maybe an inch, the ball, you know, hit off the top of my glove, and maybe, you know, if it gets a little more back in the pocket, I catch that ball, but it's just a game of inches, and yeah, but supposedly the guys were saying, you know, even if you tip the ball around and catch it. The guy was tagging, so he would score. So because the runner can advance once the hits the glove, but it just wasn't our inning, and that's the thing that loses ball games when you have to stop big rallies. And for me, if we can come up with that ball, it'd be huge.
We definitely got our work cut out for us, but I don't think we should look at it as, well, we got to win 3 games in a row. We just got to win it 2 days from now, because if we focus on winning game 6 and 7 and you don't win game 5, it doesn't matter. So I think we really just have to focus on playing 9 better innings than they do. If we win, great. We'll pack it up and regroup, and then we'll go on to the next step.
How about having Josh going in the next game?
Well, no one better for us. That's the guy we want on the mound, and it's kind of ironic. He took game 5 in 03, so that spelled out good things for us. So hopefully it does the same for us.
When you face an elimination, does your mentality change now?
I don't think it should. I think if you change your mentality, I think you might change what you try to do at the plate, or I think you might try to do too much, and then I think you get out of your game plan. I think the most important thing is to take it as, it's not a regular game, but take it as one game where let's just got to do the things we've done all year.
Well, one thing the Indians have done here is get the job done with 2 outs. You remember the number that everybody talked about after that Yankees series. They hit .444 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs against the Yankees. You can see what they've done in this series against the Red Sox, hitting .333, including 3 for 6 tonight. That's with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. You're talking major clutch hitting when the stakes are at the highest.
Oh, that is scary when you look at numbers like that with 2 outs. I mean, they just never quit. I mean, talk about playing 9 innings. They just play every inning, as long as they can, and it's hard to stop that.
Jerry, what surprised you most in this series so far? I don't know that people expected the Indians to produce at the plate like they have against the Red Sox. Pitching staff, is it because the Indians lineup is better than you thought, or is the pitching struggling for the Red Sox?
No, I think the pitching has surprised me more than anything, and as I've said many times, this hasn't gone according to script, at any point of the series, and I really thought coming in they would have a tough time with the top 2 guys in the lineup offensively. I didn't expect a tough time from Westbrook, and I didn't expect a tough time from Bird. Now, we know, Bird makes up pitches, all this stuff. He's an off-speed kind of guy. But I really thought this lineup, would swing the bat very well against him. And I think that's what surprises me most, the lack of offense against the 3 and 4 guys in the lineup. And that's scary because now you come back with Sabathia and Carmona, and they've got to pitch better than what they did the first 2 times.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. We started this whole series off saying, oh, my God, here's their 1-2. They've got the best 1-2. And then here they come. I know Beckett is our guy, but you're going to have to beat Sabathia and Carmona again and to get this thing into Game 7.
And what a terrible time for both teams to have an off day. And think about it, Tom. If you're the Red Sox right now, you don't want to be sitting around in Cleveland all day tomorrow thinking about elimination. That's what happens. If you're coming home, it's a different story because you're coming to a good environment to play in. Now, if you're the Cleveland Indians, you don't want an off day tomorrow. You just want to keep on this roll. So it's a terrible time for both teams.
I don't want to go out to dinner anywhere. I want to stay in my room. I don't want to hear anything.
It's going to be a long day tomorrow for the Red Sox.
And it's the first time they've had that scheduled day off in the middle of the 3 games on the road, and it couldn't come at a worse time for the Red Sox as that'll build and build before they take the field at Jacobs Field once again. The Indians have been as good as anybody at home, and they've got one chance to put it away at home. The Red Sox will need a win. We'll take a look at Josh Beckett against CC Sabathia. The Sox need to win that game to bring it back to Fenway Park this weekend.
I will raise you 4 cheese puffs.
$20.
Whoa. Cheese puffs are 5? I thought they were 1.
No, man, cheese puffs are 5. They're always 5.
Well, then what are the ones?
The pretzels are the ones.
I thought pretzels were snacks.
Oh, what? Come on, man, there are no snacks.
Well, and what have I been eating?
The 10s, George. You've been eating the 10s.
There's a better place to play. Foxwoods Resort Casino, home of the only poker room in New England. Check out the action at foxwoods.com.
You think of the dining room, you think of eating, but it's really not about the food. It's about the memories. Seeing the family change, the new boyfriends, the new girlfriends, the new babies and marriages. It's really kind of the history of your life. Handing down a dining room is probably one of the greatest things you can hand down to your family, because you're not just handing down a piece of furniture, you're handing down something very special that you can't replace. It's not about the food, it's about family, it's about memories, it's about things that are really important. Well, maybe a little about the food.
Mr. Francona, you were a baseball player once?
Yes, I was.
Did you hit many home runs?
I hit a couple.
Is it true you pitched too?
Yes, I even struck out a batter on 3 straight pitches.
Was he a good hitter?
Oh yeah, he was a great hitter.
Well, Terry, as a manager, you've always made the tough decisions.
It's never a tough decision to come to Sullivan Tire.
We're always here to get you there.
Mr. Francona, who was that player you struck out?
Hi everybody, Hazel May here in our Sports Desk studio. Coming up in just a little while on Sports Desk, presented by FW Webb, home of Frank Webb's Bat Centers, a trusted part of your home remodeling team. Have the Patriots been jinxed? We'll tell you about the omen that may spell doom for an unbeaten season. Bruins captain Zdeno Chara is making an early season statement. We'll look at the Bruins' improved play and of course complete coverage from Cleveland for you. I'll see you after post-game coverage. Right now, back over to the crew in Studio A.
Thank you, Hazel. That's where we are, and that's where we'll be when we come back with Granite City Electric's Extra Innings Extra. We will go back to Cleveland to hear from Terry Francona with Tina Cervasio, as well as more reaction from the Red Sox. And we'll preview Game 5, a rematch of Game 1 when Josh Beckett got the win over CC Sabathia.
Factories are begging for new business.
That's why Bob can sell you recliners for only $2.99. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 recliners, even in leather. Your choice of 6 styles, only $2.99 each. It's mind-boggling. So buy now while the factories really need the business. The competition, busted!
This is going to be the event that defines the whole season. Oh, yeah. You got it. Chevy Truck Month.
Where you'll get 0% financing for 60 months for well-qualified buyers on the 2007 Tahoe, Suburban, and Trailblazer. That's right. Get 0% financing for 60 months for an average finance savings of $73.34 on an 07 Chevy Suburban.
Get the Chevy Truck Month by October 31st.
See for yourself. Shop and compare at NewEnglandChevyDealers.com.
October on NESN. Turn to the network you've turned to all season long for the extended playoff coverage you'll only find here. Presented by Jordan's Furniture.
Sox are hoping to turn to Josh Beckett and get relief once again. The only man to beat the Indians in this season, he only had to throw 80 pitches in Game 1 as the Red Sox cranked out the offense, and it looked at the time like this might be an easy job for the Red Sox. Instead, it's been anything but, and now they hand it to Josh Beckett, who has made 4 LCS appearances, has never lost a game in the League Championship Series. In fact, opposing batters have only hit him at a 169 clip. And his numbers when starting against the team for the second time in the same series, 2-0 with 2 complete games. That was the Cubs and Yankees back in 2003. Josh Beckett says he's ready for the challenge.
I don't view him any differently than I would, my 5th start of the season. You got to execute pitches, and you have to execute more pitches now because I keep saying this, but everybody's locked in this time of year. Not too many people playing middle of October that aren't doing some things right. So I just go out and try and do what I've been doing all year.
It'll be Josh Beckett against CC Sabathia, 2-1 record in his 3 postseason starts. CC Sabathia struggled in his first time around against the Red Sox. Now he gets another crack at it. His manager says he's ready.
I've got so much confidence in our guys, and in particular, you know, a guy like CC, who's our #1 and I think one of the best in the game. You know, we're in a playoff game. He's proven to me before, he's proven to us before, that he can be a little bit off and find it. And that's what you're looking for. And sometimes for a pitcher to find it, it takes that situation to where it's, you got runners on and it's a big out, or you're trying to control damage and he gets it done there and he takes off.
All right, so Beckett against Sabathia. They need a win from Beckett. They need to beat the Indians here to keep the series going. Bring it back to Fenway, as you said, XM. Anything can happen then. Josh Beckett, 2 playoff starts this season so far. 15 innings, 15 strikeouts, hasn't walked a batter.
Well, he's been absolutely lights out, and the fact is that, you know, if you're trying to survive a series, that's the only guy you want out there is Josh Beckett, because by far he's the Red Sox best pitcher right now. You know, you can't help but be nervous if you're Josh Beckett. I don't care what he says in his postgame. I'm going to treat it like the 5th game of the series. That's not the case. This is an elimination game that's coming up for the Boston Red Sox, a team that's supposed to go on to the World Series, a team that was supposed to beat the Cleveland Indians. You know, this is a huge game for Beckett. So, you know, and as I mentioned, he's got that whole off day. He's got to think about this stuff, and that's not easy for any player. So, I mean, it's going to be, you know, you just keep your fingers crossed if you're a Red Sox fan that he continues to pitch the way he has pitched, which has been outstanding.
And he's got this mantra that he uses, you know, pitch to pitch. You know, that's all he does. He says it all the time. It's boring, but that's what he goes by. And the thing is, he had such a great curveball last time out. Probably one of the best curveballs I've seen him all year. So you've got to, back-to-back starts, you've got to tweak something a little bit. But, you know he's going to pound the strike zone. For me, if he can just get out of that first inning, because that's the frightening part in games like this. If you have that bad first inning, sometimes you can never recover from that. And this whole series has come down to big innings, you know, 2 by the Cleveland Indians.
The Red Sox, meantime, trying to do what they did in Game 1 against CC Sabathia. They were all over him. The 8 runs, 5 walks, a great approach to Sabathia. He was wild, and they took advantage.
I don't think that's going to happen again, Tom. You know, that's back-to-back games now against the Yankees and the Red Sox that he's had control problems. And when you look at his stats throughout the whole season, he is, along with Bird, is among the leaders of fewest walks. And that, you know, he just has not been himself his last couple of times out. And then you hear what Eric Wedge had to say. He said, look, sometimes this guy struggles, but we know he can come back, and I expect him to do so. I really do. He's going to be at home. He's going to have all the fans behind him. They're going to be hungry to get this series over with. He pitches better in Jacobs Field, and I think he's going to have a much better outing than his first time. You know, for Red Sox fans, you hope not, because this guy's one of the top in the game, but I don't expect him to probably be wild like he has been his last 2 starts.
And the other side of this thing is, if you look at the negative side of this, see, the guy's throwing 250 innings. Maybe there's something, you know, to that, because he's had a couple bad outings against the Red Sox and the Yankees. I think that's what the problem is, the Red Sox and the Yankees. But I don't see him having a bad start on Thursday night. But how many runs are you going to get off this guy?
Well,
Who
that's
knows?
the thing. All of a sudden, the offense has gone very cold for the Red Sox. That's what they need to turn around. Let's hear from the manager. It's Terry Francona. Terry's Take with Tina Cervasio.
Was it today to get him after things unraveled in the 5th for a number of different reasons?
Well, we wanted him to go longer. Once they got the 3rd run, okay, you know, it's time to snuff it out, just because of what we can do offensively. And the differential between Wake and Manny Del Carmen, we've liked to go to all year. Manny tried to go down the way to Peralta, got it down and way up, hits a 3-run home run, and it leads to a huge inning. I thought Wake was really good. We got in a situation where we got the pop-up. You know, Uke knows the guy on third's tagging and drifted on him. We don't make that play, and then he gets the shot back to him. If it stays in his glove, we get the double play. None of that worked. Ended up being a horrible inning.
What made Paul Bird so effective through 5 innings?
Boy, he was throwing all his pitches. He was throwing that cutter to his glove side away from the righties into the lefties and opening up the rest of the plate. You know he's always going to throw strikes, and he changed his speeds, and he was very effective.
And as disappointing as this loss is, how encouraging was it, though, to see John Lester give that kind of contribution out of the bullpen?
He threw great. He really threw great. His velocity, his cutter real tight. Again, it's not going to show up in tonight's game, but maybe keep staying away from some of our guys in the bullpen, because we're going to have to lean on those guys to get where we want to go.
Terry, thank you.
All right, the next game is, as we said, on Thursday. We got a big day for you here. Rem's going to be here like for breakfast. We're going to have a late breakfast. Get ready for the day. 5 o'clock Globe 10.0 starts your evening, I guess. 5:30 we come your way before the game. 5:30 is our pregame coverage 1 hour before. WB Mason Bruins face off live. It's a home opener at the Garden between the Lightning and the Bruins. After the Bruins game, post-game coverage. After the baseball game, more post-game coverage. And then we'll get to Hazel May at some point like 2 a.m. or something. So we'll be here all day. Pull up a chair.
Tell me when.
Well, you just show up early in the morning and we'll get you ready.
Leave me an email reminding me, will you please?
I'm afraid Rem's going to show up at 7. We'll take a break, come back as the Red Sox now turn to Josh Beckett, try to keep this thing going.
The exclusive 2007 American League East Championship Louisville Slugger bat you can own for $129.95 plus shipping and handling. To order, call Hamster Direct at 866-280-BATS or see it at BigTimeBats.com.
Granite City Electric. We do the lights for the Red Sox.
Leather gives you that feeling of restfulness and you want to just sit and relax. When people come into my house, I want them to feel comfortable and be able to sit down and not worry about the furniture. And leather, because it's so rugged, that's what leather does. Leather is the type of furniture that actually looks better with age. Just like me. On a fall day, just coming in from maybe playing some football with the kids, lying on the sofa, lighting a fire, and the smell of the fire, the smell of leather. It's very relaxing. Right, Callie?
Take the field with NESN University College Football Saturday as Princeton meets Harvard. Presented by Hess, live at 12:30, only on NESN.
The buzz is back and better than ever.
How much do you love the Bruins?
We're counting the ways.
Catch the buzz Saturday before Bruins coverage, only on NESN.
Locker Room Uncut is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers. October is truck month at your New England Chevy dealers. Visit newenglandchevydealers.com today.
The way that fifth inning unraveled.
I mean, they're already. I mean, it's over, done with. It's in the past, and we're moved on. And looking forward to Thursday, and hopefully come out winning a game.
How much of the fifth did you see, as far as kind of the crazy things that just started happening?
I saw a little bit of it, but you know, it seems like breaks aren't going our way right now, and hopefully Thursday we can come out and, like I said, you know, have breaks go our way and quit hitting balls hard right at guys. You know, it seems to be guys square up a ball, it goes right to somebody, or somebody makes a diving catch, and you know, it's just one of those things right now.
What is it that you see in this Cleveland team that they've been able to come back and win these 3 straight?
I mean, they're a good team. I mean, a lot of people didn't give them the credit they deserve. They're a very good team. They're scrappy. They always seem to come up with a big hit at the right time, and that's just one of those things right now. They're playing well, and I mean, not to say we're not playing well, but they're just playing a little bit better than us right now, and hopefully we can come out Thursday and be the opposite.
Wish I could take it back, you know, trying to go down away on them like I did last night, and you know, just left it up in the zone, and not a good time to leave something up in the zone, especially, you know, being down 2-1, but wish I could take it back.
It was one of those situations everyone's talking about. It was hard to kind of stop the bleeding there. How hard did it rattle you at all to, you know, kind of pick up after that at bat?
I mean, I feel really strong right now, and you know, I felt like, you know, my mechanics were fine. You know, I just one bad pitch, and I mean, if I could take it back, I would. And you know, but we're not done yet. You know, we're down 3-1, and you know, I'll take whatever positive I can. You know, I ended up getting out of the inning, give up a broken bat hit to Blake. You know, and you know, but I tip my hat to Peralta. You know, I went after him last night, and like I said, I just left it up, and he took advantage.
All right, Manny Del Carmen again. You know, that's the crucial blow of the game right there, the Peralta 3-run homer. Now they're back to the wall. We said it before last night's game, he said again, this team has gone just about this whole season, 6 months essentially, without having their backs to the wall. They will play a must-win game for the first time all year.
Well, you're going to hear an awful lot about 2004. You know, the guys who are on that club are going to be spreading the word to the guys who are not in the club, but it's a whole different season. It's a different team. It's not anywhere near the same situation, and you're facing their number 1 and 2 guys. Now, I understand we have Beckett going and, of course, Schilling going in the next 2. Then if you get lucky enough to get to a Game 7, you get the Dice K Westbrook matchup. It's not going to be easy, Tom. This is going to be a very difficult task, and I don't have a real good feeling about it right now.
I don't either. I think about this season. I don't want to wrap it up because, I mean, there's a lot left. And they could easily, I was in a playoff game in '96. We're 3 games up, 3-1 on Atlanta. And Atlanta came back with Smoltz, Maddox, and Glavine. We lost. Same situation here. Your best 3 pitchers are going at you. The thing about it's been a charmed life for the Red Sox this year. Everything went so well for them all year. This is the time of the year, finally, to find out what kind of character they have and see what happens.
And who started to make it tough for them? Trot Nixon.
Trot Nixon, that's exactly right. That hit in the 11th inning is what really got this all going. The former Red Sox dirt dog getting it done against the Red Sox. And now they face elimination when they take the field on Thursday. We're facing Sports Desk coming up with Hazel May as the Patriots midweek report, I guess, getting ready for a game against winless Miami after a big win against the Cowboys.
Hi, Dad. Did I miss anything? Should be starting any minute.
City Electric. We do the lights for the Red Sox.
You know, you think of the dining room, you think of eating, but it's really not about the food. It's about the memories. Seeing the family change, the new boyfriends, the new girlfriends, the new babies and marriages. It's really kind of the history of your life. Handing down a dining room is probably one of the greatest things you can hand down to your family, because you're not just handing down a piece of furniture, you're handing down something very special that you can't replace. It's not about the food, it's about family, it's about memories, it's about things that are really important. Well, maybe a little about the food.
Bring your family to visit a standardbred horse farm on Open Farm Day, Sunday, October 21st, from noon to 4 at farms across Maine. Learn about the horses of harness racing, life on a horse farm, and meet the horses close up and their owners who train and care for them. Enjoy complimentary cider and apples.
Bring your kids to visit a standardbred horse farm, Sunday, October 21st.
Black Bear fans, this is head women's basketball coach Cindy Blodgett.
And head men's basketball coach Ted Woodward, inviting you to join the Maine men's and women's basketball teams this season.
Your Maine men's team will be filled with familiar faces as the men's roster boasts 10 Maine natives.
The women's team will have a new look, up-tempo style of play under Coach Blodgett's direction. Join us and Maine's teams at Alfond Arena all season long.
Call 581-BEAR or 1-800-756-TEAM to get your season tickets today.
Extra Innings Extra is brought to you by Granite City Electric. Nobody knows lighting or electricians like Granite City Electric.
It's all going to come down to one game now because the Red Sox beat tonight. Final score.